Alright boys, welcome back to the channel. I'd like to thank everybody who's been watching and all the new subscribers. I really appreciate it. Today we got a little electrical situation and we gotta figure it out. We got a bot that doesn't want to do what he's supposed to do, doesn't want to work, wants to take the day off, so we gotta figure out why he doesn't want to put in the work that it takes to keep stuff running around here. It says PC3, and here's the thing. I went to that breaker and that's not it. So we need to figure this out. This guy has absolutely no power running to him, so we might have to open him up and start doing some surgery. But before we do that, I'd like to ask everybody who's new to the channel, please subscribe, and why don't you hit that like button while you're at it, because they're right next to each other. So go ahead and get that done before we move forward. I appreciate it, guys. So just so I can prove my point, I got the old Klein tester, but boy, I gotta tell you guys, this guy, I don't think he's worth the money, but that's just my opinion. So I'm gonna go ahead and plop this guy in there to verify that he ain't got no power, so you guys don't say that, oh, old boy's a liar. Oh, Ricky's a liar. Yeah, he ain't got no power, so I'm gonna hit both sides. Nope, no power. And here's the other thing. Why would you put a bollard right in front of the outlet box? I don't get it, but hey, it's 2025. It doesn't have to make sense. So the breaker says PC3. It is a dual receptacle 4-gang box, and here we are, boys, at panel PC 12208, 3-phase 4-wire Y system, and we're at breaker number 3. So he is on, or according to the breaker, he's on, and still no juice. So we gotta find out why this guy ain't juicing anymore. So all the signs indicate that he should be on, and he's still not. So we gotta find out why. So let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and follow this conduit back and start tracing his origins. So everybody might not have a clear view from here, but I'm gonna actually have to follow this 3/4 inch conduit all the way back to the origin and see what happened to this boy and why he's decided to take the day off. Let me go ahead and, as you guys can see, it goes all the way up to the roof line and over into a junction box. So that's where we're gonna start. We're gonna go ahead and start troubleshooting this guy at its first junction and go from that junction and see which direction he goes in order to find what breaker is supplying him the juice. Alright fellas, so here we are. We're about 34 feet in the air and we had to rearrange some furniture just to get up here. So here's the box. This is the box, and this is the 3/4 inch conduit that goes all the way down to our friend down below who doesn't want to do his job. So I got the 3 best tools that I could think of to try to even start this job. So I got the 11-in-1 screwdriver so I could pop the box lid off. I got the voltage tester so I could verify that there's some power, and I got some insulated wire strippers so I can pull the little wire down if I had to without doing it with my fingers. So let's go ahead and get this box open and we'll see what she looked like inside. I have a feeling that it's just a loose wire or something like that, because the story that I got was that she used to work and she used to do a pretty good job actually, and now everybody's saying she's not doing her job. So here's the deal. I already see something that I don't like, and that something is that this is 14 gauge wire, boys. This is 14 gauge wire. That's just insulting. 14 gauge wire is just insulting when it comes to industrial. Why would someone run 14 gauge wire? That just makes my blood boil. Yep, she's got no power, boys, no power at all. Well, that could be your first indicator that the outlet is not gonna function. So let's go a little bit further, and here we are, and we'll follow from this box to that box, because it's being fed with this flex. So let's go ahead and open this box, which also says panel PA circuits 35, 33, 35, 37, 39, 12208. So that could be the deal, that box has the wrong panel written on it, so it led us in the wrong direction. Liars. Why would they lie to us like that, boys? Why would they lie to us like that? What did I ever do? So here we are. Let's go ahead and pop this bad boy open. Now that we got a clearer view of where the origins of that circuit is, we can probably make a calculated decision on just to walk over there and turn on the breaker, boys. Oh yeah, we up here, boys, we up here. Oh my God, that is a freaking disaster. So now that I see that this is coming from panel PA not panel PC. I'm looking at all the wire nuts. I was expecting to find a broken wire nut. I'm gonna go ahead and head over to panel PA, and that's gonna be our next stop. And just another thing, box fill calculations, I don't think they did the math on that one. This thing is packed, fellas. Two things I see wrong here, boys. Box fill is just out of control, and they went with 14 gauge wire in an industrial application. I get it. If it's your bedroom, if it's your ceiling fan, bathroom light, hey man, I'm not gonna think twice about it. I'm not gonna give you a hard time. But when you're in an industrial setting, you know, the minimum that I would do is a 12 gauge wire. And I'm not going with none of that 14 gauge. 14 gauge is unheard of in an industrial setting. So I don't know who did that. They should be spanked on their butt. Let me go ahead and button this up, boys, because you know what? I think she's just a blown breaker, and we actually did all this work for nothing because they didn't label anything right. So that is another point here, is if you're gonna do something, go ahead and label it, where the origins are coming from. You know, give us the backstory on it, boys. Give us the backstory. You know, you give somebody a little backstory on the circuit, a little history lesson through a little label, and make life easier for everybody. All right, fellas, so here we are at the first place that I'm thinking that circuit's gonna come from, because this is one of two electrical rooms that supply this building. So we got a 1600 amp main right here, and then we got some we basically got some big breakers that feed a bunch of electrical panels. So I'm just gonna go ahead and look for a main breaker that may feed panel PA, and I see DP1A, WH2, panel H, scissor lift, I don't know what that is, panel PB, transformer, panel WH. So here we are, boys. We don't have panel PA, and I'm looking at all these guys up in here. We got a 480, we got a 208, we got a 208, and we got another 480. So no panel PA. Woo, that was a long walk. Okay, well, let's get our exercise in today, fellas, and let's go track down this panel. I'm gonna put out an ATB, Amber Alert. I'm getting everybody on this one. All right, fellas, we finally found it. Here we go. Panel P, panel PA. Haha, he's the one. So let's go ahead and get this guy open. We were dealing with circuit 33, 35, 37, and 39. And it kind of doesn't make sense because we don't even have a 39 running here. So we have a 33, 35, 37, and they are all on, fellas. So there's some fishy, funny business going on here. The only one that I see that is off is 1 and 3, which is a 40. I don't think that, which is a 40 two-pole, and the 30 two-pole on 16 and 18. 16 and 18 are 220 volt for, doesn't really say, it just says 220 volt. So okay then. So let's go head back over there, and we're gonna have to start wire tracing, fellas. Get your fork out, because we're going into the spaghetti. Okay, you know what's really pissing me off? This is what's really pissing me off. Is that this box plate says panel PA, but I'm clearly looking at this 3/4 inch conduit right here, and it goes straight over and straight down to panel PC. So somebody's lying here, boys. Somebody's lying here, and I need to get to the bottom of this, because what should have been a simple circuit trace and would have been a totally excellent video is turning into a nightmare, and it's becoming an even better video. Yes, boys, this is getting hairy here, fellas. So I gotta get this thing open again. You know, never believe your lying eyes. Okay, and we gotta figure out where this boy comes from. I really don't want to start pulling all this spaghetti out, but I guess we're gonna have to. We don't have a choice. So first things first is let's see who's who on the yard, and let me pull this guy out. I tell you what, man, anytime you're dealing with this spaghetti like this, it is a pain. Yep, I don't want to get shocked up in there. There's a lot of wire going on up in there. I don't know, man. I think that that conduit fills a little over 40%. If I do say so myself. Yeah, I think somebody didn't read their code book. I think somebody didn't read their code book. Who would have done such a thing? Okay, so we got definitely our 3/4 inch conduit coming from panel PC. So first thing, while we're up here, let's go ahead and see who's feeding our circuit over here into this flex, which is 14 gauge flex. It's a little crazy, fellas, a little crazy. And sometimes you get lucky and these wires will be numbered, but today we didn't get lucky, so it's a good thing we didn't put a lot of money on that bet. Yeah, he's dead. He's dead. There's some other guys in here that are alive, but he's dead. So what we're gonna do is we are going to go back to the panel, and he's using a blue wire, so he's gonna be on one of those phases, that blue phase. Okay, so let's go ahead and head to that panel, and we gotta find this gentleman right here. We'll have a word with him. All right, fellas, here we are, back to where we started, beyond all the confusion and the chaos of somebody not reading their code book and not labeling. So I'm looking, that boy says panel PC3, but he definitely isn't panel PC3. That other box says panel PA, but he definitely isn't panel PA. So nothing makes sense here. But beyond that point, what I do notice is that 33 and 35 are off, fellas, and they are taped off, but that is our problem. So we'll go ahead and flip this on and see if he doesn't kick back out to us, which I doubt he will, and that should be our issue. There he is, fellas. What should have been a pretty simple standardized procedure turned into chaos, because basically labeling. So you need to label your stuff just to make it easier for the next man, or he gets to charge more hours for his hourly rate. So either way, it works out for him because he gets more business. Hey, you know what? Doesn't look so good on you, but hey, what do you care, right? What do you care? Because if you're doing that in the beginning, then you really ain't tripping off of it, and code books don't mean nothing to you. So anyways, circuit 33 and 35 off, which completely not labeled. So we're gonna go ahead and get that labeled if this is the culprit. So here we are again, back to where we started, and now we have power, fellas. Now we have power. Okay, so here's the thing. That is a 2-pole breaker that's feeding this guy, but somehow, some way, there's a neutral attached in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and let everything be. I'm not sure which panel he is. I'm not sure which breaker he is, but he's gonna either be PC33 or PC35. So let me grab my label maker and we'll get this all cleaned up and taken care of. So all right, fellas, we're back, and I got the label maker. But I really want to figure out which circuit this is, if it's gonna be 33 or 35. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use the old untrustworthy Klein circuit breaker tracer, and we're gonna see if he's gonna actually do his job today, or if he's gonna let us down again like he always has in the past. So we're gonna fire this boy on, nice green light, and we know it's 33 or 35. So I'm guessing it's 35, because when I put him on 33, he doesn't get all crazy on me and spastic like a crazy old ex-girlfriend. There we go. So I'm assuming he's 35. So I'm gonna take the chance, since it's looking like a multi-wire branch circuit. You know what? I think he just used to feed some other type of equipment, but somebody just tapped into him like as if he was a multi-wire branch circuit. That's what they did. So he originally did not feed a receptacle. He probably, let's see, so it's a 20 amp, yeah. So either way, so here we go. 35, hey, good enough for the girls I go out with. 33, all right, I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with that. Hey, Klein, he didn't let us down today. So the Klein Tools ET310 did not let us down today. He's making me proud. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and label this boy panel PC, throw in the dash, and we'll call it 35, and we'll see what that print looks like. Oh, I'm good with that. A little bit small. The writing's a little bit small. So we're gonna go ahead and ditch this label, and we're gonna replace it with my fancy new PC35, and it looks like we're back in business, boys. Back in business. All right, so let's focus on getting this old label off, and we'll get them replaced with the nice new PC35. This was a lie. Oh man, this thing has been on there for some time. Let me get that all scraped off. There we are, boys. Here we go. We have our new label. Let's get this guy peeled off and apply with pressure. Try to get it level. Let me get my level. There we go, fellas. There he is. He's a brand new man. I like it. Panel PC35, fully operational. I don't like the install, but hey, what do I know? Alright fellas, so I normally would have just wrapped up my video right there after I got the breaker working, went and tested the receptacle, got all the juices flowing again, and would have called it quits. Went ahead and told you guys, if you aren't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the like. But I'm gonna go ahead and do the follow-up and show you guys what the wrap up and the cleanup looks like. So this is the wrap up and this is the cleanup. I'm gonna go ahead and put this box back together, put the cover plate on it, and while I'm at it, bam, I'm gonna use this beautiful fine point Sharpie to actually label the actual breaker panel that feeds this junction box. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I typically wouldn't waste your guys' time seeing that, because from the comments, a lot of you guys know exactly what you're doing, and this is ABCs for you. But there's a lot of people out there that actually don't know, so I'm just kind of showing them, and this channel is more for them, more geared for the people who don't know, whatever they could gain from it. Either way, let's go ahead and get this thing wrapped up. So here we go. This was the cover that came off of this box, and it's a bold-faced lie. So this is not true. Somebody's lying to us. So let's go ahead and get this cleaned up, and we'll make it panel PC instead of panel PA, 35 and 33 and 35. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to clean this off with some citrus oil, and hopefully we can get them cleaned off enough to get some graffiti on here that says panel PC. Ah, she's working like a charm, boys. She's working like a charm. Yep, that's her right there. Yes, sir. I don't want the next guy to come around and have to chase his tail trying to find which breaker goes to that outlet or receptacle. I want to make it real easy so he can't bill him for as many hours. I'm just playing. So here we go. Panel PC. There we go, boys. And that is how the sausage is made, fellas. That is it. That's how the sausage is made, boys. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my gloves on while I stuff all these wires in this overfilled box. So here we go. I'm really trying not to get jolted here, boys. Really trying not to get shocked today. I tell you what, I can easily go through an entire day without getting shocked and be perfectly fine. All right, boys, here we go. If you see some sparks, it's just a lesson to not overfill a box. Oh my God. Oh. Crap. All right, so there she is, an overfilled box, and I'm gonna try to get this cover plate on there, which it actually went on fairly easy. Grab my 11-in-1 and I'm gonna tamp her down, boys. There she is, panel PC 33, 35, 37, and 39. Job well done. All right, fellas, so here's the deal. If you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and hit that like while you're at it, and I will see you guys on the next one, fellas. Laters.